Hello, my name is Chris Ringler. I am one of the ghouls with the Flint Horror Collective Ghoul Crew. I am also one of the filmmakers that has a film in the Flint Fright Film Focus, whatever the name is. I make these names up thinking I'm clever with alliteration, then I forget them. I thought I'd take a couple moments just to kind of talk about my process for what it's worth. I've only directed a couple of short films. I was involved in movies back in the past when I was much younger, and I've been involved in movies since then in various capacities. And I figured for anyone interested, I was going to pass on my little nuggets of information. So the thing is, much like all of these creative endeavors, the hardest thing to do is to get started. Everybody has ideas. Everybody has, as a writer, I run into people all the time that go on about, oh man, I have this great idea and I just need to do it. And that's the thing, is it's one thing to have an idea and it's another thing to actually pursue it. That's the hardest part. The ideas are not the hard part because we have ideas all the time. We talk ourselves out of pursuing them. So where we could lend our own vision to something that we think is kind of been done to death, we instead just decide that we're not going to pursue anything, and then we just kind of regret that. So I had, again, I'm a writer. That's what I consider myself. I had gotten involved in making a film for the first time since myself since I was a kid. A few years back, some friends and I decided we were going to make an anthology together. And I was resistant at first, but figured what the heck. One of those things I've found in past few years is that if an opportunity presents itself that is interesting to you, that you need to take more than a moment to think about it and think it over, it doesn't mean it'll always work out. It just means that you want to make sure why you're saying no, because sometimes you can cheat yourself out of an opportunity that you didn't know that you wanted or needed. And sometimes we need these challenges to kind of push us further. So I'd gotten involved with friends. I decided I wrote a segment called The Last Halloween. It might have gone through a different name, I can't remember. And then I wrote a wraparound. Well, the whole film didn't, like two of the three shorts got made. The final one didn't, so it's kind of nebulous as to if and when this full feature will come together. But I wrote mine, and it took, all told, to do The Last Halloween, which is, I'm not showing that one. I'll get to the other film in a minute. It took probably 2 years at least, between writing and kind of getting it in my head, and then casting, and then getting everyone together, and then recasting and shooting, and then reshooting. It was like, truly, it was a nightmare. And many times I'd wanted to quit. Basically, I got everyone together for a read-through. It was great. And then I started rethinking things. Cast members dropped out. I had to recast. To match up with that, I rewrote aspects of it. I changed things. I changed characters. I went and I shot a good chunk of it. I shot most of the film, but realized we had shot it in a space that was near a highway. And it was a perfect space, except that you'd hear people talking, hey, how are you doing? And then whoosh, 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 all these cars going in the background. And that's not really great. So I went back to the drawing board reluctantly and found a new space and reshot most of the film. There were some shots and things I could use otherwise. And it was hard. It was hard because the recast was tough, because I just don't know. My movie used young people for generally, and I don't know young people at my age. So I had to rely on friends and friends of friends, and it was kind of slow going, but I lucked out. And what really kept me at it is I felt a responsibility to the people who had put their time, their heart, their effort into this for no pay, for nothing from me. Just trying to be in a movie. and I figured that I owed it to them, if nothing else, to finish the film, because otherwise it's a cheat. And that's the thing. And a lot of people, you see this a lot, is people always want to make movies. They're, oh, this and that. You know, I'm going to make a great movie. I need cast. I need crew. I need this. I need that. And it's always like, okay, well, are you going to pay me? And most folks like me can't. So then it's a matter of, why are they doing it and why are you doing it? I did it because I want to make a movie. That was a big thing. I wasn't in it for money. Um, I didn't have any, you know, illusion that I was going to, make it big. I put my heart and soul into it, and I liked the movie. Um, but I was also realistic about it. But you have to, for me, like, I kind of look at movies kind of like we did, with the Horror Collective. We do events, and I kind of look at it the same way as like your guests or your vendors. Is you have to, if you can't respect them, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And if you can't respect your crew and your cast, the people that are busting their butts for you, whether you're paying them or not, but they're there to help you with your vision. If you can't respect them and their time and their effort and treat them well as you're able, then you're probably better off not bothering with this kind of a pursuit. Movies are a slow go. And you don't realize that, because again, it always sounds great. Oh man, I wish I could be on a movie set and it'd be so great. And I've been on sets, more than just localized movie sets, and you realize how slow it is. Multiple takes, makeup effects, special effects, mistakes in setups and sound and getting like, there's so many elements to get these things right. It is tough to really capture it all in one take. The lower the budget, the less takes you have, and you're going to be allotted. So there's that. But you just have to be patient. And I mean, the best thing you can do if you're going into filmmaking is be ready. Have your script as tight and close to done as possible. I mean, there may be changes. There's got to be wiggle room in case something happens. But you got to have and you have to know it. You have to know your script. You can't keep asking other people what your script is. You've got to not waste people's time on the set. You've got to be willing and able to, like, this is our plan. This is what we want to do today. You may not get every shot you want to do. You may not get to everything. You may get to more. Who knows? But you can't go and waste people's time. You can't say, oh, hey, I want you there at 1 p.m, and then have them filming at 5 p.m. Unless there's makeup or some other reason for them to be there, don't waste people's time. Give people the amount of time they need to do the things they need to do. If they need time to go over the script with you or with other actors, try to make that time. If the makeup people need time, give them the time. Like, you have to remember that they're trying to do their best job just like you are. And, you need to respect that. But you also need to keep everyone on a schedule. Because just because Joe Schmo over here is going to take several hours to do what he needs to do, Jane Smith over here doesn't need that time. See if you can figure out a way to get Jane doing what she needs to do so she can get out of there if she can. Again, don't waste people's time. Understanding the elements of a film and what you need, and you have to be realistic. For me, my movies, both of them are very minimalistic, like simple sets. They were pretty much, they're outdoor sets. Small. The cast has gotten smaller and smaller, so I only had a couple people in my last movie, the one I'll be showing here today. I kind of knew my plan. I had worked out, like, for the second film, the film I'm showing, I Am the Door, that had kind of a big special effects gag, and I worked on that myself a lot, trying to shoot it and get it perfected. And I was basically, if nothing else, I didn't want to waste the time on set trying to figure it out. And that was a big deal to me, is I don't want to waste people's time and say, hey, let's just do this thing and then get there. And it took me quite a few hours of logistics and doing it to try to make this so it wasn't awful. And again, that's not time I wanted to have people out. We shot that in the woods in July. Um, and it's essentially a one-man show, and I'm kind of in it. But I mean, you can't put people through hell, literally and figuratively, and then expect them to put on a happy face for the whole time. So you've got to be respectful of that. You need to have the things people need too, like water and snacks and stuff. That's stuff, things that I've learned since doing these, is that you just have to, like, there's, you don't even need a big crash services. I think that'd be great. Everybody love that. But you have to be at least respectful of the fact that people are going to need breaks. People are going to need drinks. They're going to need, restrooms. They're going to need snacks. They're going to need the basic things that any of us would need if we're doing work. This is work. It may be a hobby or something fun for us. It is work, though. People will have to, they're learning lines. What I discovered is you can shoot around anything. So for me, I found, really, more than anything, it's knowing what your plan is, what you want to do with your film, and then finding a way to do it. If you can't shoot, like, say you have it's a sci-fi movies, big spaceship, this and that. If you can't shoot something with a big spaceship, don't. People may want to see it, but until you introduce that, they don't have to worry about it. We may want to see the alien for all of the movie The Alien. We may want to see him dancing around, like, doing dialogue. But it was more effective in glimpses, and that was the strength of the film, is they knew, hey, it's going to be more effective, like Jaws. It's going to be more effective if you don't see it very often. Once you introduce it, like, oh, there it is, plain view, you have to match that and keep that up. We can, as the viewing public, forgive a lot and accept a lot, and if we are engaged in the story or the film, whatever, we can forgive a lot. And that's the thing. Sound is a huge thing. And again, that's one of the things I've learned, because my first film, last Halloween, we did have to shoot a scene that was near a highway, and someone fixed the sound the best they could, and it's about as good as you could ask for. But it is distracting. There's no two ways about it. So much of film can be done on the cheap. It's amazing. I'd gotten a camera for myself. It's kind of an all-in-one kit. It's a few $100s for a Canon camera. There's like free editing software out there. There's Creative Commons music out there if you needed to do that. Like, there's so much stuff it's a new world. And with YouTube, if you can promote it, you can get it out there and get it in people's eyes. Again, and with so many film festivals, there's not even a lot of there are a lot of film festivals that you don't even have to pay to be a part of. It's just what you want out of it. If you go in trying to make a bunch of money, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because you have to remember that this market is saturated. That doesn't mean you can't make money at making films. It doesn't mean you are not going to. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try. But just have that in your head, that, like, you shouldn't think that you're going to make even your money back necessarily. You have to do this for the right reasons, much like anything else. My film, I'm the Door, like I say, the biggest gag was the special effect, and it took forever. I think the idea is great. I think the execution is meh. For what I was able to do at the time and all that, and doing it kind of solo, it's pretty cool. I think the idea is better than the actuality, but I don't think it takes away from the film, the effect. Much like every other filmmaker, there's tons of stuff I'd love to redo, but I think it's a pretty fun movie. I think both of my shorts are pretty fun. I have another one I want to do at some point if we ever get past COVID. And it's funny because I keep shrinking casts and shooting areas and stuff, and maybe that's because I'm just getting narrowing my focus, or I just am kind of doing it. Then I'll be doing it kind of to match what I'm able to do. And that's the last thing I'll offer is that work within your constraints. With each movie you make, with each creative endeavor, you're going to grow. Don't go out there the first thing you do trying to make some elaborate feature film with a huge cast and all of these special effects and this big budget. Like, start small. Start small and learn the stuff that is just like that you'll learn just by doing it. Um, the most fun I had in my filmmaking was the editing. Honest, because that's when you start seeing the film come together. I had made the music with a friend. He and I did the music together, and we did so much music. I've been able to use it in other projects, like other snippets of it, and that was fun too. But like editing it and getting a cohesive story together, and that's where you kind of you hear this all the time if you follow kind of filmmakers, as they'll say, the editing is where the movie comes to life, and it truly is because you can have it is in the editing that you can turn it from a comedy into a tragedy, a drama to a horror film, because it's what takes you use the music you score to it, um, how long you let scenes run out, like how much you cut, like there's a lot to it. So start small. That's all I'm gonna say is it's great to have these big ideas and to want to do them all, but maybe just even if you're just getting a hang of directing, I would just offer maybe start a little smaller and then work your way up. Because to me, there's no rush to spend all that money to go through all that trouble and then have it not work out. Because that'll just kill any interest you have in directing anymore. That's the worst thing you can do is set yourself up for a failure. I don't know that these are helpful kind of tips or anything. These are just things that I've experienced in my days. Uh, I hope you enjoy the festival. I hope you enjoy my film, I Am the Door. I appreciate you taking a look at this, taking a look at our films. Take care, friend. Oh, if you want to find out more about me and my other film or any of my other writing projects, spookychris.com. You can find all that stuff there.